Today I have the great privilege of having the opportunity to talk with Yessica Jones, who served as the Chief Information Technology Officer for the state of Arkansas. And now she is a leader with Microsoft. And I'm very excited to be able to ask her some questions. And the first question I do have for you, Yessica, is what was it like to be the Chief Technology Officer for a state? What were some of the takeaways from that incredible experience?
Thank you, Glenn. And first of all, thank you so much for the invitation. Very excited to be here speaking with you today. And as you mentioned, I was the Chief Technology Officer for the state of Arkansas. I was there for about 6 years. And I would say one thing, it's, one of the most rewarding jobs. I think being a public servant, it's an incredible job to be able to impact our constituents, but also one of the most challenging jobs. I think you have a wide range of services that you need to provide to the state, and with that, working and collaborate with with other agencies. In Arkansas, we're a very decentralized IT structure in a way. So while I was the CTO of the state, I did not own the IT staff for the other agencies. So the work that we did, it was, and the standards that we provided, it took a lot of collaboration with agencies, a lot of ensuring that we were bringing everybody to the table to make decisions. So it was very, very rewarding. Mm-hmm.
Now, Microsoft just came out with its annual digital defense report. Can you help us understand how those insights were gathered and what some of the top takeaways from that report are?
Oh, absolutely. Microsoft, we take great responsibility to protect our customers and really work together with fellow defenders to make the world a safer place. This is why Microsoft has been committed to publishing its digital defense report since 2020. As you may know, Microsoft serves billions of customers globally, and we are one of the largest security vendors in the world. So the report contains insights that were gained from our large ecosystem of products and services that allows us to aggregate security data. So today we analyze over 43 trillion security signals per day. So these signals come from multiple sources, whether it's identity, email, endpoints, and cloud. And the signals allows us to understand the current state of cybersecurity, including indicators that can help us predict what the attackers will do next. As a matter of fact, this past year, Microsoft Security blocked about 37 billion phishing and other malicious emails, and more than 34 billion identity threats were blocked. Not only that, we have, over 8,500 people working on cybersecurity related matters, from engineers, researchers, threat hunters, investigators. And we also work with a really large partner ecosystem. So not only do we have the insights from people on the ground, helping our customers, but also the signals that we continue to analyze. It really has allowed us to study victims of cyber attacks and really to determine some of the top contributors to organizations' vulnerability. Why we're talking about government, why is this so important about, in government? As we know, we all live in a very connected digital world. And just like many organizations, local governments, and especially smart cities, they have a web of technologies with so many devices, sensors, different user groups, networks, data that are constantly communicating with other systems. They are storing, sending, receiving data, and all this makes it really challenging for government to keep up with today's threats. Not only that, just add on top of that, the rapid adoption of IoT solutions, that it really has increased the number of attack vectors and the risk of cyber attacks. One thing that, through the report that is clear is that public sector is the target. As a matter of fact, government is one of the top 4 targets that make 63% of nation-state notification attacks. And in the U.S., we have a little over 90,000 local governments that they're handling private citizen data and provide critical services to their constituents. And as you know, Glenn, unfortunately, the majority of these local governments operate with a very small budget. They have little to no cybersecurity staff, and they have a very complex technology environment, like I mentioned. So the digital defense report, not only it provides a view of the threat landscape, landscape. But it also helps empower organizations to take action, right? It provides some critical actions that can be taken to protect their organizations. So the hope is that we're bringing awareness of the urgency to take action based on the data and insights that are presented in the report. The Digital Defense Report, not only it provides a view of the threat landscape, but it also helps empower organizations to take action, right? It provides some critical actions that can be taken to protect their organizations. So the hope is that we're bringing awareness of the urgency to take action based on the data and insights that are presented in the report.
We talk about smart cities. What is it that we're talking about? What distinguishes a smart city, and why is it that they may have even a greater need to hear the findings of the report and understand the findings of the report? If you could give us that sort of an insight.
Yeah, absolutely. A smart city is that those cities that are leveraging technology like the Internet of Things, IoTs, or information and communication technology to collect data, real-time data from sensors, from devices. And this data is then utilized to improve services in a city in order to enhance the quality of life of the citizens. So, take, for example, water monitoring devices for tracking water usage throughout the city. These devices are able to detect leaks so that the water department can fix it immediately. We have those smart buildings where, the sensors can collect data to really control the lighting and the heating and the cooling. Why is it so critical for smart cities? As you can imagine, we have other vectors, right? And I always talk about, I remember talking this when I was a CTO, we have other doors where attackers can get in, and especially with all these different IoT solutions. So the environment is continued to grow, and there's more windows of opportunities for attackers to get in, and ensuring that these IoT solutions are kept up to date. They have, they provide the patches that the staff, the IT staff, and everybody's keeping an eye on, and ensuring that those have the security controls that are necessary.
And yes, it certainly seemed to me that the Microsoft Digital Defense Report should sound alarm bells for a lot of cities, and help them understand that, as you've pointed out, when we talk about the Internet of Things, we're talking about all these connected devices making a larger cybersecurity surface for bad actors to attack. So what are some of the best practices that you would recommend based on the findings of the report for state and local government to take?
So, there's a couple of things, right? I think, the main thing is basic cybersecurity hygiene. I think we talked about it, I've talked about it before, and, it's clear within the report. One thing that, before I touch on cybersecurity hygiene, one of the top contributive factors that, our frontline responder teams, really identified, right? Whenever they went, to our customers and help out, some of the top contributive factors was there's an insecure configuration of an identity provider, right? So not having a good Active Directory configuration established correctly. Administrators have excessive permissions across their environment, and hence, organizations have a lack of privileged access management controls. MFA, multi-factor authentication, which we know is a fundamental user access control. There's a lack of MFA implementation. In 88% of engagements, MFA was not implemented for sensitive or high privilege accounts. There is an effective and low maturity security operations. Unfortunately, some of the engagements where our teams participated on, they found out that there's limited use of endpoint detection and response. We see also a lack of an effective response plan, which is so critical. A lack of an effective vulnerability and patch management process. A lack of information protection control. Almost half of organizations that were impacted did not have backups and recovery plans for critical assets. So and especially also, having not having a modern security framework, just like Zero Trust, right? Which, we talk about it all the time. Zero Trust framework, validate those devices for compliance before granting them access. Ensuring that each account only has access to the systems that they really need, and really constantly monitor the environment for possible attacks. So, again, implementing cybersecurity hygiene top. And, if I was just to, really highlight a couple points, which the report talks about this, right? They talk about some of the minimum standards that they need to implement would be, enable multi-factor authentication. Again, critical, fundamental user access control that organizations should enable to protect against compromised user passwords and really to help to provide extra resilience for identity. Again, apply zero trust framework, implement extended detection and response anti-malware software to detect and automatically block attacks, and really to provide insights to security operations. Ensuring all systems are kept up to date. I mean, that is so important. Making sure that the devices and applications and infrastructure are up to date, ensuring that they have the latest patches and updates from the manufacturer. When we see, victims of attacks, unpatched and out-of-date systems are, one of the key reasons many organizations fall victim to an attack. And protect your data. Know where your most critical data is located and how it's being secure, and ensure that you have the right security controls in place.
Yes, with all of those steps that you've just mentioned, it's still very likely that cities are going to find themselves both under attack and perhaps even a victim of a ransomware attack that gets through their safeguards. I was kind of relieved and interested to hear that Microsoft actually has a emergency response team that goes out when there's an incident like that to a local or state government and provides assistance. Can you tell us how that works?
Absolutely, Glenn. This is what we call our DART team, the Detection and Response Team, which is a group of elite cybersecurity experts that provide both reactive and proactive incident response services to our customers. So we have 4 different offerings, and 2 are under the reactive teams and 2 are under the proactive team. So on the reactive team, you have the incident response team and the Office 365 incident response team to assist our customers during security crisis. So, for the incident response team, they complete investigative service, they determine whether systems are, under attack, and they set the groundwork for recovery process of evicting the attacker from their environment. The Office 365 incident response team, it's very focused on investigative service. They look at the compromised accounts, potential account traversal, and other, right? For the proactive team, this is, we have 2 different servicing. One is the Cybersecurity Operations Service. This is more a point-in-time, deep analysis of the environment to better understand security risk. This is, customers wanted to take a very proactive approach to identify potential emergencies before they occur. And the team really makes a recommendation on administration, process, people, and to help try to get the customers to a more robust cyber posture. And the Security and Crisis Exercise, which provides tabletop exercises that are centered around real-world observation and mitigation tactics. It's a 3-day personalized interactive classroom experience where they provide scenarios based on real-world stories. So, our customers, if they're interested for any of the proactive engagements, it's necessary that they contact their account manager or their customer success account manager.
So it's really a situation in which local state government could reach out to Microsoft and say, we are very much concerned about the implications of a ransomware attack. We'd like you to come in and help us with a tabletop exercise, and even then perhaps get preliminaries of what happens if we do come under attack, how we bring you in and have you more prepared as well for an interaction with us as a unit of government.
That is correct. That is correct. Mm-hmm. And I would say, a lot of our Microsoft customers are under, our unified support agreement or Premier. So there's other engagements that can start looking into that are part of their unified agreement. With the DART team, it's more, definitely proactive, more, I'm really, really concerned. I really need people here, today, your best of the best individuals that can come inside and help us out.
You gave quite a few recommendations in best practices. Again, Microsoft's Digital Defense Report really does sound an alarm bell that the risks against government continue to increase. Any additional takeaways that you would like to add?
Oh, absolutely. I think we've seen how digital transformation provides opportunities to engage with the people, with people to transform products and services, to optimize it for operations, et cetera, right? But, I think that it's important that as leaders look into new technologies to improve their communities, right? I think it's super critical for them to understand that security is an enabler of digital transformation. We hear this, again and again. I think it's super important that business leaders need to give cybersecurity a priority and have an understanding to where the risk exists today. Be very proactive, collaborate, take a proactive approach by identifying potential risk, by developing an incident response plan, by investing in cybersecurity technologies and personnel, ensuring that they are adopting a good cybersecurity hygiene practices, ensuring that they are providing, security awareness training to their employees, train their employees to really identify, phishing emails. And really keep in mind that, manual processes and the traditional security operations is not sufficient anymore to deal with today's threats. And, I would say for leaders, ask questions, keep cybersecurity in mind. And if there's, ask the questions, what does your cybersecurity response plan looks like? When was the last time that it was updated? Do we have a schedule, regular exercises for backup and recovery, to ensure that our data can be recovered in case of a ransomware attack? I think one of our VPs, I believe is Ann Charles, she's our security compliance, identity and management VP. And I just want to quote her here because she said it just right. I think, leaders should plan for cyber disruptions in the same way they do natural disasters or other unforeseen events. Bring together internal stakeholders like operations, communications, legal, and more to craft strategies. When I read that, I just thought she just nailed it, right? Whenever I was the CTO for the state, we had to deal with an incident, and it is true. I mean, if you don't have a cybersecurity response plan, you don't want to be in the position because everything is on fire, right? Not only what are you doing to mitigate, what are you doing to respond, but the communication, right? You have to have a communication plan and who is taking care of what. So it is super, super important that they have that they are prepared, that organizations are prepared. I think we know that the risk is going to be there, right? It's the fact that how do we mitigate the risk and how do we lower the risk and how do we recover, ensure that we have a plan to recover. I think that is super critical.
Yes, I loved how you said that digital cybersecurity is an enabler of digital transformation. Thank you so much for taking your enormous amount of experience and sharing it with us. It's been extremely enlightening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Glenn, for the opportunity. It was a pleasure.